Welcome to Marriage Talk Season 4. Join us as we discuss the differences between men and women. We are privileged to host Pastor Tim and Pastor Judy. And for the very first time on Marriage Talks, Pastor Bonnie and Pastor Geraldine, and our very own Pastor Peter and Pauline Kamau. This is Marriage Talks, where our marriages must come to a rest.
But one of the things, I think I was listening to one of the marriage counselor, and I was talking about when the marriage affect you, was it 68 or 78% of your life? So even when we are thinking about reinforcing ourselves in material things and money and all those things, we cannot just think about having money without thinking who are we going to spend the money with. You get what I'm saying? Because at the end of the day, what kind of life would I have without her? My goodness. You get what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, let's give things their deep value. Because sometimes we over emphasize the what money can do. You get what I'm saying? And sometimes we think that money has a magic weight, that it will give you joy, it will give you all of those things. I'm telling you, money is all about. Have you ever tried to? Once I went and I was being hosted by somebody back in Kenya. And actually, the wife had moved out, and the wife was not in the at home. And right now, very big house, very big house. And the guy, was there and had a maid, and the food was cooked, and then food was put on the table, and then the maid, back in Kenya, maids don't eat together as a family, so they removed, and I saw a very depressing situation. You have money, you have the house, you have everything that you can think about, but that food and all the resources doesn't give you joy. It doesn't. So that brings narrow this that what I have. If at all I don't have a good person to share with, and that's my wife. Then it's not.
This morning I was reading the Bible in the book of Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and verse 2, and I was just saying vanity of vanities. Vanity of vanities. Vanity of vanities. All is vanity. Why have all those things and you have no one there to share with you? What does it matter?
There's a lady by the name Susan Skinner, and she's done a research, and she said that if you want to live longer, treasure close relationships.
Oh yes.
It's not even about eating good well. It's not about exercise, and those things are very important. They are all important.
Very.
The one thing that makes you live longer is close relationships.
At the end of the day, it's your family. I mean, wasn't that what Steve Jobs said? We all know who Steve Jobs was, or we knew him. At the end of the day, he says, it doesn't matter all this success, all this work without my people. So it doesn't matter.
Children, spouses.
Number one. Vanity of vanities. I had one marriage counselor who said 7 things to learn from Bill Gates' divorce. So I think you need to go in with Kingsley Okonkwo. He's quite good in marriage, and he was saying 7 things to learn from Bill Gates and Melinda Gates.
And I think that was saying that it's especially this a deception to many people. Just because you excel in one area doesn't mean you excel in all other areas. And you might take that area that you excel and you try to intimidate others. When actually, really, to be very honest, you could be excelling academically or professional in a professional field or whatever it is, but your marriage is breaking down. But just because I am making it there, I may assume that my marriage will just follow the suit of what is happening there, of which is not. So is there any other way that probably we can talk about some of the way that dysfunctionality comes in?
Maybe something I've been thinking about is where one partner always goes out to, let's say, like what Pastor Tim was saying, they always get their emotional well-being from outside outside in the home.
Yeah.
So if it's they look for that contentment outside the home. So if maybe they have somebody out there, if they're very happy because they've been successful at something. So instead of sharing that joy with the wife or the wife with the husband, they go out and they always outsource for emotional satisfaction, for joy, for support, or they make their career is everything. So the other spouse feels like I don't matter. So it's like that scenario. The person feels like, I don't matter in this relationship. I'm not important. So they feel like they've been overlooked.
It's a genuine question, because somebody will ask, and who am I?
Who am I in this relationship?
What am I to
if you always go out there?
If you go out there, you're getting all your emotional support. I'm hearing things secondhand. Then who am I to you? What am I to you?
And I think
to me, it would trouble me. If Pastor Kamau did that sincerely, it would trouble me.
Yeah, and especially if it's consistent.
Yes, then who am I to you?
And I think I remember one preaching, T.D. Jakes preached and said about, he was talking about now his career as a pastor. And he said one of the reasons he liked to travel with a wife. And he said that if you go somewhere and you left your wife at home and you're coming back and you're reporting to her, all the
miracles, the signs, the wonders.
She can't relate. All that she can be able to tell you is what was happening at home.
Yeah.
So if at all you want to talk about the same thing and to be on the same page, you have to carry her where you went. And this got us into our field, and probably some of us, because we're in different careers, there are some experiences we have, we needed to bring along our spouses so that we be able to talk the same language.
I think it boils down to respect. I was talking to my wife about respect, because respect is different things to different people. And as Pauline is saying, there are things a husband does that will show you they respect you. And there are things a husband can do that truly show you he doesn't respect you. And I think vice versa, as we have talked about respect. So it is one of those areas where if we want to seal dysfunctionality, the area of discipline, respect is important. But allow me to mention, because we've mentioned about the fact that constant conflict is a source of dysfunctionality. But there is an element to which conflict must be allowed, because we are fallen people, but it must also be hastened to be resolved in the right way.
That's right.
Because to run away from conflict sometimes does not mean we will attain peace. Sometimes peace comes by engaging in conflict, but engaging in it constructively, and we must allow for it to happen, but be intentional about resolving it. So we should not be afraid of conflict and confrontation. We should also not be afraid of allowing people to express themselves emotionally. I don't know, maybe because of the baggages we carry, sometimes we get pricked by emotional expressions. But it is okay for someone to be angry. It is okay for someone to be allowed to express themselves. And actually psychotherapists encourage, if someone is angry, let them express it, but express it in a manner that is not destructive and not harmful to any other.
You see what you're saying, Pastor? It's about it being healthy and unhealthy.
Exactly.
It's about it not being toxic, but being healthy. Because to give a practical example, I know of a lady, myself and Pastor know of a lady. Every time there was conflict and she was not allowed to express herself, she'd get so frustrated, she would cry. And then now he would start mocking her. Why do you always cry? You can't even open your mouth to talk. She's always crying. So when you're talking to these people, she says, I just burst out into tears because I'm so frustrated. And then he said, you like cleaning out your lashes with your tears. So it's so demeaning that she's not able to, the way she was trying to express herself, he brought it down to the level that her tears were just cleaning out her eyelashes. Yes. But the thing is, she was trying to say, I'm frustrated. You're not listening to me. And now it gets so pent up in her, it used to just end up in a flood of tears. It's not that she loved crying or she was a crybaby. It was just a let out for her. If she cried, she would feel better, you know. But if she was to bottle it in, you can imagine what can happen to such a person by bottling it in. One day it will burst out and you won't like it because it will be explosive.
I had to learn it the difficult way.
Yeah.
Anytime I got annoyed and when we were younger, she would ask me, do you want to talk about it? And that would irritate me more because I didn't want to talk about it. Yet she had opened an opportunity to talk about it. And so it used to leave me in a very awkward place. Do I talk about it? Don't I talk about it? Because of the personality that I am, I always ended up not talking about it, but waiting until it became a bit toxic. It is only later on in life that I realized she's very self-aware of herself and doesn't mind talking about it. And I think that's the best way to help your partner. If they are not happy, ask them whether they would want to talk about it. If they don't want to talk about it, that's fine, give it time.
And I think one of the key things, especially when we talk about expressing ourselves, there's a difference between expressing ourselves and solving the problem. And I love something that Pastor Judy said a couple of one of the episodes that we had. And I think that was very redemptive for me. And she said something, she said, a lady feel understood when her emotions have been expressed and understood by the person. That was really, really, really helpful to me. Very, very, very helpful to me. And I think one of the key things that we really need to understand is to give that backing. Don't, even when somebody comes, just appreciate the pain and what they're feeling. Don't demonize. Don't afraid.
Don't delay it.
Don't even tell them don't talk about it. Because the moment you tell that person don't talk about it, she will go to look for somebody who is willing to listen. So if at all she has come to me, just listen. And I think this is a tall honor, especially for men. Because when men they hear a problem, we want to rush to bring the solution. You get us, but the moment we allow that, and I believe this is something that we need to cultivate. Because I believe almost every person who is here and listening to us, I believe we are not to that level that we would like to be. But when we come to a place where I know that and I can bless myself, I will not be judged. Nobody will use it against me. And then I have expressed it and I feel you still love me and you still appreciate me the way I was even before I told you all this. I believe that will be a very, very good place for every home, to be. Because that will be one of the key things, especially when you will talk about healing.
But maybe to add on that, I know men we like solving problems. But also having said that, I realize actually men we have a problem with procrastination. And in so many ways, I'm a man and I know maybe why not for my wife? There's so many other things maybe I've procrastinated. That why not for her we would not have done them. So you realize actually men can also fail to solve the problem there and procrastinate, saying, let's do this, we'll talk about this at some point, not knowing actually this procrastination of solving the problem is destroying the wife. So it can be either way, either trying to solve things quickly or procrastinating. Or failing to address the matter. So it has to be both, because some men would like to address the issue there, but others procrastinate. So there must be a balance, knowing that actually if your wife has come with an issue that needs to be addressed, then we realize it needs to be done, if possible, there. There's one word that I used to hate, especially in the beginning of our marriage, when my wife used to tell me, I want us to talk.
Even me, let me tell you, let me confess. Bible says that confession is good for the soul.
Yeah.
Confess, my brother. Confess. Bring it out.
I used to hate that.
Yeah.
When my wife tells me that,
I want us to talk.
Hey! She will tell me literally, I'm not aware this thing get and I say, no, I'm not coming there. Yeah.
Oh yeah, but then you know what I used to do? I would grab him when we're just when he's driving.
Yeah.
He will have to listen to me. So I'll talk to him in the car. Now that way, he can't run away, he can't shut me down. Even if he tries to show me that he's concentrating, I know he's able to drive and talk.
So, are you comfortable with that? Yeah, I've grown to.
Yes.
When Pastor Jimmy tells you I want us to talk, it used to be very awkward.
He said, yeah, initial days.
Yes, but I have understood over time that if I don't come out of my shell and attempt that, we will not resolve it. Because I'm slow. As Pastor Bani is saying, I am a procrastinator because of who I am. I have to reflect on issues and through issues. So, and she's the kind of a person who deals with issues there and then and wants to forget them. So she wants to pull me out immediately. I want to take my time. So I have learned if we don't do this, it will be punishment for her because she wants to deal with issues there and then. But it will also be punishment for me. So it is to my advantage to come up. I have learned slowly it is to my advantage. Have I quickly adopted to her style? Not yet, but I'm a work in progress.
So it's a man thing.
Even me, I'm encouraged to hear that. I know it's only me, and I didn't want to share with anybody. People may misinterpret. How can you fear your wife? I didn't. Now I understand. But actually, what I feared, I realized actually. Right now, I'm not. It's not that I've grown into it, but now I understand that if she tells me that she wants us to speak, I know. Obviously, now it's solvable. Obviously, yeah. Before I used to see it
Because it's urgent.
because it's urgent or it needs to be addressed, and it doesn't mean that she has stopped saying that. I want us to talk. It's not as frequent as it used to be, but sometimes she will see an issue, not necessarily concerning me, but even concerning children. But when she mentioned that, I know that this is urgent. Now I don't procrastinate. We address it there and there, and I realize actually it is needful to be addressed. Before, I used to make myself so busy and somehow make her forget.
But it's not what we're saying here. It has come with the experience of the years.
Yeah.
What I hear all of us say. It's experience, growing together, understanding each other, learning each other.
Yeah.
So if there's a brother there, you will grow into it even you yourself.
And if there's a sister there, my dear sister, don't give up.
Don't give up.
Don't give up.
I remember I used to tell Tim, I'm not telling you. We are just talking. Because I think there's a fear that women are coming to tell the women, the men in the conversation.
Yeah.
So the fear of having that conversation is maybe she's coming to tell me what I have not done or what I need to do. But I used to tell him, we are just having a conversation. Let me hear listen to me, and then be curious. And I always say, emotions have a lot of messages that men miss out. Emotions have a lot of messages. If you learn to listen to emotions, you will even have more information that you've always desired to know about a woman. Emotions have messages.
And if you learn
to listen.
Because I'm also looking at this other way. That when men are listening, they're not really listening to the content. They're listening to the respect. And sometimes emotion has a lot of good messages, but if that message is delivered the wrong way, it loses that.
And I think it's key what Pastor Judy you are saying. I'm not coming to tell you. Because now that's where we get it wrong. If you're coming to tell, then why should I bother even to listen to you? But I want us to have a conversation. Let's hear each other out. Not just listen, let's hear each other out. And that's very key.
And sometimes I believe, because even when I'm listening to him, what I tend to do, I take myself off and I put myself in his shoes. So now I listen to him from his perspective. Because every time we are in the picture, we take things personal. So we think it is us who are being addressed.
Yes.
And so that takes away the aspect of curiosity. Okay, let me hear. Why are you saying that? What has happened? How did you feel about it? So curiosity will help you to get the information that is coming from every emotion.
And I think to add on that, maybe this is also something I've learned after quite a number of years, is that sometimes, I think I said it in the previous conversation we had, a program we had, is that sometimes women will circle like a helicopter or an aeroplane looking for a runway. And sometimes the mistake we make as men is when we interfere when the women are still circling. And I think the key thing as men is to give those banners, direct your wife to land.
That's very true.
Direct your wife to land, because every time you interrupt when she's circling around looking for an animal, you will never understand each other. There will always be conflict. And what I've realized nowadays, what I've done, and it has worked magic, is that every time I sense my wife is circling, one thing I do is that I come and I say, yes, indeed, that was very correct. So, and that way, she realized that, no, I'm not doing that. I let her speak without interrupting. But what I've done, in most cases nowadays, is that I give her eye contact. And before I used to make mistake that she's talking and I'm on the phone. So nowadays, I make sure that nothing distracts me and I'm giving her the attention. And what if it does, the circling will not take a long time. And then, let me finish this. The most unfortunate thing that maybe I would like to address to the men who are listening is that sometimes the circling, what the woman is saying, is not exactly what she meant, what she wanted to say. And this is where, that's why the Bible says, live with them with understanding. Because if you keep on addressing what she's saying, then you miss it out. Sometimes I would hear that my wife will be...
Because we speak from emotions. From our emotions. If something is disturbing me, it affects so many other things. So let's say it's an issue with one of the children and something is really bothering me. So if I'm trying to, and then when I try to talk to him, so I'm trying to bring him where I am, but I start on something else. So I want first to capture him in the conversation. So I first, and it's not intentional, I don't know. But I find that we first talk about something else, and then later on we bring actually the real issue that is in the heart that is actually causing the anxiety comes out.
But now, to be honest with you, honestly, if there's something I wish God can rewire, is that area of circling. And because actually you realize sometimes I think it's 1 month ago, there was an issue, you were in the kitchen and I heard the way you spoke. You spoke to one of our sons on a high tone. And there's a way I can design here. Something is not right. So if it is in the past, what I would have done, I would have gone upstairs. Because I knew I don't want to hurt. So I would have gone upstairs. So what I did this time, now that I understand her, I went to the kitchen, sat there, she was cooking. And as you were talking, finally she's told me, this issue is bothering me. But you see now, there's a lot of suckling that was taking place. So, but it's only that I didn't want to ask her, why did you just come and tell me without suckling? Tell me.
Sometimes those things don't just come.
And I want to say, there's something, Pastor, you always tell us, that there is a boy in a man. There is also a little girl in a woman. And that girl just needs to be listened to. You watch people who have little girls, what they do to their daddies. they go and they just want to express themselves. They want to be heard. There is a little girl that wants to share the frustration. But sometimes we have to be very careful
How you
and we
bring
have to
it out.
sit around
Yeah.
because we are aware of the king. We don't want to be to awaken
Other things
Other
that
things.
are not necessary for this.
exactly. So that is where the circling goes round. So every time the girl shows up with emotions, just listen.
And that little girl, especially for men, let me tell you, is to acknowledge. If she is saying that is painful, you say, oh, really? That might be very painful. Is it?
Oh, Master Kamau, he takes my hand.
Yeah.
I don't know why he thinks by holding my hand is soothing me. This is Master Kamau.
As simple as that.
Yeah.
Because you're talking about being decent.
Yeah.
It's just not for you. Just no. It's you acknowledge. Go
Yeah.
with the flow. Acknowledge the pain. Ask where is it coming from? Oh, who affected you? What did they? Hey, that must be. What do you think? All those kind of that. Now
Yeah.
that is how to listen
Yeah.
to a lady. Probably you need a session.
So
where
I'm
they
just saying therefore, because I think that somebody brought it up, and I think it came up there that maybe one of the things that has caused dysfunction in modern marriages is social media, but we haven't delved into it a lot. But social media has really
Oh yeah, actually that's a topic by itself.
That's the topic.
Because actually, the graveyard of many marriages, especially in the era we are in,
Yeah.
is
And
through
young
social media.
couples.
And it comes from, because right now, for example, you see how many groups are there. Maybe you have been introduced to a group, your former schoolmates. There are groups now from your village. Maybe there's a Facebook from your village. And maybe by the time you're scrolling the Facebook page for your village, you meet, I believe you're not brought up in a monastery. So you find somebody else there. And maybe you befriend them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, maybe we are human beings. Remember what I said. It doesn't matter how long you've been born again. If you don't manage the flesh, you'll be shocked. The crazy thing you can
And
do.
Pastor, let me say this. One of the things that we take,
Mhm.
when the Bible says the whole things have gone,
Mhm.
don't try to visit your grave.
Yeah.
Don't try to visit your grave. Don't try to resurrect a skeleton. Especially if I thought there was attachment emotion. Don't. There's I'm not a Facebook person, as most of you are. But there is one thing I don't even. I believe when an error had gone, it is gone. It is completely gone. And probably there could be, but especially there are some people
Yeah.
that you know where you used to be,
Yeah.
what you used to do with them, how you related with them. My friend. Yeah, here's the one from an elder. There are some things that the Bible says, don't pray about them, don't fast about them, free.
Yeah.
Run
And the
away.
Bible says free. You better heed the words of Joseph and don't dare like David.
Also, the devil is crafty.
Very.
Yeah.
Sometimes maybe you may have issues with your wife, and maybe your ex maybe see your picture on Facebook, click a like and say,
You still look good.
you never age.
And actually,
That's it. You might be born again. Even a bishop or a pastor. If an ex say that I realize you never age,
There's a feel good factor.
and you are a man.
and let me say
Sometimes
this.
you might be not buy it. But just imagine there's a dysfunction in your marriage and there's a compliment that has come. You know what the devil will begin to tell you? Maybe you're in the wrong marriage. Maybe
You have the wrong person.
Millicent might be the one.
And this is what we say, because at that time that's when you feel like when somebody is not appreciating you, and then it says somebody, God give me a sign. You know how we, especially in Pentecost, we like also bring it on. But thank you so much. I believe we have dealt with these two questions, symptoms of a dysfunctional family or marriage, and then how it comes in And then we look into what are the ramifications of that and how to solve it. And I believe that this will help you. I believe you are not in this kind of situation, but if you are, let me say there is hope. Many of us, like you have heard from our own experiences and our testimonies, we are coming from a history, we are coming from somewhere. And right now, where we are is because God has helped us. That's where we are not in that era anymore in our relationship. We have moved on because we have worked on it, and God has been gracious. As I say, when you build marriage in the God way, it has 100% to work. And it's not only that we were married 30 years ago. Our God is the same yesterday, today, and forever. Amen. Build it in God's way, and you enjoy a good marriage.
Thank you for joining us today. God bless you.
God bless you.
We would also like to welcome you to the Couples Lunch event happening on the 14th of November at 3 p.m. at the Burnham Park Hall. It is £50 per couple. You do not want to miss out on this.